Everybody.
Hi.
Welcome back to another fun Ryan and Dave catalog show.
Catalog.
So it is the big day, volume 1, released online earlier today. You can see the full catalog there. As you can see in front of us, we have print catalogs here as well. Print catalog is about 220 pages, and it includes pretty much everything that's new in the catalog this year, from the scale world, the traditional world, all sides of things. And these have already started to ship out. We've heard from some of our dealers, they've already received theirs. So whether you're club members or have a dealer near you who you go see these from, if they don't have them yet, they'll be there very shortly as soon as the Postal Service can get them to you. But they are on their way, and you can tell, nice, thick, heavy binder. We've been working on this one for a while. Dave and I are going to kick things off and start by going through the first couple sections of the catalog with all the new scale offerings, and then we'll bring in Megan and Corey to help go over the traditional sections and accessories and Musa and all the other great pieces that we have there.
When's volume 2 come out?
You're not the first person to ask me that today already, Dave. But let's let the ink dry on this one a little bit first. All right, we've got quite a few things in here to talk about. Obviously, you can tell from the cover, this is Disney's 100th anniversary because we selected Beauty and the Beast to put the cover out here on that. And those are
just like us.
Exactly. There's no Beauty here yet, Dave.
No.
The first piece we have in the catalog is something we announced a little while back, back in October. We teased this one, the new Vision Line Big Boy. Dave, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about this one and about all the great features that you've managed to cram into this thing, and let people know what all they can expect.
Sorry, I was reading it. This locomotive really represents Lionel well, and definitely is a channeling of Ryan and I, because we're both big boys. So we really want to bring our energy and passion into this line with the re-release of the Vision Line Big Boy. But this is definitely an upgraded version over the 2015, 2016 era version. And lots of things going on. So many features. Ryan adds so many features to these trains, don't you?
I do.
But,
do you need me to bail you out a little bit here, Dave?
Why? Am I supposed to be talking about what features it has? No, but we've got dual sound systems. So you got the sound in the loco with dual speakers in the tender. Always one of my favorite effects, Ryan, and not just Vision Line engines, but we've done it in other larger engines as well. So you get the sounds coming from both the loco and from the tender. The force coupler feature that we first introduced with our Vision Niagara a number of years ago now, from bicolor marker lights and 5 different whistles, 5 different bells, road-specific crew talk. The list goes on. But really, I think one of the big features to come back for this Vision Line engine is the depleting coal load, which we have only done one time with the Big Boy back in the 2015-2016 release. And that really was kind of the big hit feature with this locomotive, wasn't it, Ryan?
It was certainly one of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be back on all of these, obviously, except for the 4014 Excursion version, which now has the oil tender.
Yep.
You will notice a little bit of a difference in the list price on that as well, to reflect the lack of that feature. Also new to the Big Boy that we haven't done there before is the changeover to the addition of safety valve steam.
Yep.
So you'll have safety valve steam in addition to the blowdown, whistle, and stack smoke.
Yep. 4
different smoke units in this.
Yeah, as well as what we have now introduced with the Class A and the early Challenger, Brass Hybrid Challenger. This will also be coming with the 4-digit addressing that will be exclusive to the Base 3 and Cab 3 app, and those ship later this year. So really just packing every feature we can into this locomotive. And what locomotive deserves it more than the Big Boy that everyone thinks of when they think of a Lionel train or just trains in general?
So as you can see, we've got quite a few SKUs here of these locomotives, and there are a few detail variations in between them. A lot of them are very similar. Some of these duplicate some road numbers that we had done previously in 2014 or 2020. Some are brand new road numbers. Some of the ones that we released the last time we did this as a Vision locomotive, one of the details that we changed, the first time we did it in 2014, all of the engines had their aftercoolers on top of the pilot deck. This was an early version of the big boy. The locomotives that were built that way eventually all had those coolers changed out, and they went underneath the deck, a different design. So for numbers that we've duplicated with all the same, other deco as the previous one, we made that swap. So if you're down the road looking at one of these and wondering whether it's a 2014 or a 2022 version, 2023 version, you'll be able to tell that pretty easily. That's one of the little detail variations that we have back and forth between these locomotives. Of course, the 4014 has the biggest differences. That will have all the same details that the last excursion version we did had on it, including the oil tender, the nice plate on the floor of the cab with the 4014 number embossed in there. And then this one will have a uniform gloss finish over both locomotive and tender. That will be one deco difference from the 2021 run. And then, of course, these do still have the big boy chalk marking on the smoke box front, since UP's kept that up, which is pretty cool.
And then another detail variation that I like that's new to these, Ryan, it's not on the 4014, but we do have the elephant ears on a couple of the SKUs as well.
Mm-hmm.
And one change that we've made to that recently is that they will be removable with magnets. So instead of screws, putting these on and holding them on permanently, you'll be able to remove them just by pulling them off with some magnets, and a nice little detail variation that you can choose to run with them or not.
Yeah, it's a very cool variation. The 4019 was the only locomotive that ever had these in real life, and they didn't last very long. It was an experiment that didn't pan out, but it's a cool look, and once you kind of get used to seeing them on there, they add a little something to the big boy. So for our two fantasy schemes, both of which are variations of the UP's Greyhound paint, one of them, the one with the yellow striping you'll see there, the 4024, that carries the elephant ears, and the other with the silver stripe does not. So you have your choice there. But again, they are removable, so they're easy to pop on and off should you want to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, nice detail difference.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing just to note, most everybody's used to it, but in the catalog, you can see that some locomotives have shiny side rods and others have blackened.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a SKU-specific detail as well.
Yeah, the 4014 Excursion will have the polished side rods, so will the two Greyhounds, and the others all have the blackened side rods. Gives it a little bit more of an in-service service look. We also, before I move on to some other great things, we always get requests for the Union Pacific passenger cars in both new road names and now increasingly for reruns of some of the ones that came out earlier that people didn't have a chance to get in the past. So what you see here in this catalog's offering is kind of a mix of both. The two-pack there is a set of new road names for these cars. We've got the Theater Observation car and the Art Lockerman tool car, which is one we've been getting a lot of requests for, since that's usually close to the locomotive on just about every excursion. The separate sales station sounds diner is the Overland. This was released once before as part of the George Bush funeral train set. So if you didn't pick up the set, this is an opportunity to get that car on its own. And then our four-pack features a return of some of our earlier cars from the first runs back about 2015, 2016, and some of the most requested ones, including the American flag baggage car there that we get tons of requests for. So if you missed those cars the first time around, here's a great chance to start expanding your UP consist. If you've already been keeping up with this over the last 6 years or so, there's still a few more that you can add to your collection.
I like those dome cars.
All right. Now, if you're the big boy collector who just wants it all, we've put together the Vision Big Boy Super Set. One of the bigger sets that we've done here at Lionel. Very cool set that, similar to some of the other Vision sets we've done recently, it has something going on in it from front to back. We start with the locomotive. It's your Vision Big Boy with all the features. This one has the aftercooler details up top there, and just loaded as we've talked about. Next behind that, we have a 3-pack of our Vision Reefers. These are just like the separate sale Vision Reefer 3-packs that we've been doing for several years now. You get one car with full Vision sounds and effects, and two that are just fully detailed cars. These have separate road numbers from the 3-packs in this catalog and all the other previous releases. So if you're building, again, long trains, there won't be number duplication. Dave, you want to talk a little bit about the Vision Reefers and what they do?
I'm just wondering, Ryan, like when we deliver these, does the pallet come with it that has to hold up the whole set?
Well, there's going to be a lot of UPS and FedEx guys not liking us in a few months. That's
I mean,
for
this
sure.
is a massive set. It's very, very long. But you're talking the Vision Reefers, which we have done many times now, but are always popular because the command control sound cars are always in demand, and the Reefers have always been probably one of, if not the best selling of them. And these really give a good journey when you play them. So you start out, by picking up the produce, and you got your intermediate stops where you re-ice the cars and then unload them at the destination. Really a lot of play value in these cars, and a lot of custom dialogue went in them, along with the other sound cars that are also featured both in this set and in the catalog.
Yeah, right behind the the 3-pack of Reefers, we have a 3-pack of Vision stock cars. These are like the new tooling we did last year with the double deck stock car, the double deck door. And what did we put in our stock car this year, Dave?
Oh, you really just love the barn animals. And this year we are going with the sheep, aren't we?
We are. We're mixing it up. We're putting some sheep in there.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Tracy had a bad time building all this.
No, I mean, it's going to be great when you have a quillable sheep and you just...
Nothing will ever top the quillable reindeer.
I can't get over it. I'm still in shock over the reindeer. But yeah, I think the sheep is going to be great. And it really is a good addition to the line of quilling animals that we've been doing the past few years.
Mm-hmm. So you have one car there that has, again, all the sound features. This has loading and unloading, and I believe the car clean out sequence is what we put in for the third.
Well, I mean, after the animals are done, you gotta wash that floor out.
Yeah, so that you can imagine that'll be some fun dialogue on that.
Of course.
Behind those, we have a PS1 boxcar. This is a Freight Sounds boxcar. Yep. Our standard cars, no command control on this. As it rolls along, it plays the Freight Sounds in motion, the clickety clacks. But what's really cool about this one is this is a tribute boxcar. During World War II, the Union Pacific put out a whole series of special posters to drum up support for the war effort. Probably about 20 of these in all. And this boxcar will be the first car in a series that will commemorate that art. So one side of the boxcar, in place of the would usually be the route of the Streamliners slogan, will have one of these World War II posters. The other side of the car that usually says "Serves all the West," it will be changed to "Serves all our best." So a neat little World War II themed car. Again, this will be the start of a series. You'll be seeing more of those in Volume 2 this year and Volume 1 next year. But if you're thinking you might like something like this, well, this is your first chance to jump in on that whole set. And then last but not least, we have our new Vision line caboose. You'll see a couple of these in the catalog. This is another fun one. It's been a long time since we've done the talking caboose.
I mean, it was 20 years.
Yeah, it was TMCC days.
Yeah.
So we're bringing that kind of an idea back. But of course, this has a lot of new features in there in addition to it. So you'll of course have different crew dialogue and things of that nature. This will have the air whistle on there for if you're making backup moves. You can pop that little peanut whistle.
The primary character will be the conductor.
The conductor back there is the primary character.
Yep.
And then I think one of the neat features that opens up a lot of potential on this is we'll be putting an IR sensor on the caboose as well. So if you're using our sensor track, you could now use the end of the train to trigger different functions on your layout depending on how you program things through the legacy system.
For sure, and that's even made better by having an electrocoupler on there. So if you're using the train to move cars around, and you can uncouple them remotely without having to physically do it. So
yeah, it's a neat car that has a lot of fun potential. Of course, you'll have the LED lighting, the marker lights, and all of that as well. For those who want to do that separate sale and not do the whole UP set, we've got it available in both the brown and yellow Union Pacific schemes as well with that Vision.
And some others.
And some others to
come in
to
later
come here.
pages.
All right. We've talked a lot about the Vision Reefers already. We've got returns in the Santa Fe and the PFE paint schemes. We usually run those just about every time because they're popular. For the first time on these Vision cars, we have Fruit Growers Express and Great Northern Fruit Express as well.
And for the reruns, they are all different road numbers, right, than we've done before.
Yes, I've been keeping track since 2014 of the road numbers we put on these and make sure that we don't duplicate. And for the Santa Fe cars, we go through and try and make sure that every road number we put in there is actually appropriate for the car class and the train name on the car as well.
Very cool. At some point, you run out of numbers.
Well, we've got a little while to go yet.
Good.
But I'm hoping that I can retire before we reach there, but who knows? I'm having too much fun right now anyway. All right, more Vision stock cars, separate sale here. We've got Union Pacific, Texas and Pacific, Rio Grande, and Pennsylvania. These are the same as the cars we just mentioned in the UP set, with the new quillable sheep feature and all of that. So,
and a lot of options for Western Railroad guys.
Mm-hmm. All right, heading into Legacy Steam.
Well,
no one has ever requested this. I don't know why we.
This little footnote of a locomotive in this catalog. I mean, we might as well skip ahead. I mean,
yeah.
All right, so we're doing the Dreyfuss Hudson. Again.
Doing the Dreyfuss Hudson. This is all new tooling. Well, for the most part, new tooling, right? We were using the for the versions using the PT tender. That's coming over from our Vision Niagara. Yeah. We're using a lot of the components from our existing J3 Hudson.
Yeah. They have the same wheelbase and front and trailing trucks, but the shell is all brand new tooling. It's not something we bought from another company. It's not old tooling from 20 years ago. It literally is brand new tooling with upgraded features in Legacy, but also upgraded detail level as well, right?
Yeah, and one of the cool things that we have now, because we've tooled this fresh, is that the real locomotives didn't keep all of their streamlining very long.
Yep.
Like they didn't keep. Most of them were completely de-streamlined after just a few years, but it seemed like within a few weeks or months, as soon as these things came into the roundhouse, someone had their tin snips out and was going to it. So the different variations that you see here reflect the locomotives at different time frames in their career. So we have a couple that are as built, including here at the bottom of the page. You'll see one of those there. And then we have several with appearing in later years. And as you read the text in the page, it'll give you a little bit of an idea of when each of these falls in terms of its timeline. But we've tried to match all these to prototypical photos so that we de-skirted the right amount of de-skirting, put the right drive wheels under as well. Some of these had disc drivers, some of them had Scullin drivers. So we've recreated both of those. We've got two variations with the PT tender in the normal paint, one with the Scullin, one with the disc drivers. We've got the one is revamped for the Mercury. We've got two as delivered for the 38 20th century. And then there, sort of in the middle of the page, you see the dark gray. That's our fantasy scheme. These had all been de-streamlined completely by the time the New York Central flipped their passenger car colors over to the dark gray with the lighter gray band. But we thought it'd be kind of neat to see what it would look like if one had stuck around that way with the dark gray predominant color and the light gray band to match later New York Central passenger cars. And that's the impetus behind our heritage or our fantasy paint scheme on these. Feature-wise, these have stack smoke, whistle smoke, Legacy, Bluetooth, all the normal standard features in Legacy. Those that include the PT tender have the water scoop steam effect coming out of the overflow jets off the back, which is a really fun one to have on there.
The tender also has the close coupling, kinematic coupling.
Kinematic coupling on the pilot.
And these have drop plates too between the loco and the tender.
So a really nice locomotive that has been out of the Lionel catalog for far too long. And one of the reasons that we held back on doing this was we wanted to make sure we had the tooling set aside, not just to do the locomotive, but a proper train to go with it.
Passenger cars as well.
So we are also bringing out the 1938 20th Century Limited. New tooling in this train includes the railway post office car, the diner, and the observation. The sleepers matched things we had already done, fortunately, so we had a little bit of a start there. But we're doing all new tooling for some of the most distinctive cars in this train. You'll have the 4-pack includes an RPO, 2 different sleepers, and the observation. There's another 2-pack with 2 additional sleepers, and then the Station Sound Diner is a 2-car set. One car has the normal Station Sound Diner electronic features. The other is an interior, but the 20th Century ran with a pair of full diners placed back to back like that. So That's how we're packaging this for the set, so you can do the train accurately as you'd like to run it. And this, as I'll point out for those who are, die hard on the New York Central and trying to get everything just right, this will be done to match the 1938 version of the train. About 1940-ish, 41, I think at the latest, the passenger stripes, the outer stripes, and these started to change from blue to silver. So we'll be doing the 1940 version of the train in a later run. Didn't want to put them both out at the same time, but there will be an opportunity for that in the not too distant future for those looking for the slightly later versions of these paint schemes.
And I have had somebody ask me already, or a couple of people, about the minimum curve being a 464, but especially on the PT tender version, it definitely is an 072. And we do recommend 072 as well on the regular tender version, even though you can kind of get away with 054, but it runs the risk of derailing some cars when that happens. But yeah, we highly recommend 072 as the minimum curve on these locomotives.
And a lot of that is that closer coupling with the kinematic drawbar on there to the locomotive.
Yep.
All right, something a little smaller, but a very interesting locomotive. This is new tooling to us, but being heavily reworked to make a nice new locomotive out of this for us, and that's the Russian decapod. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with these locomotives. This was part of a very large order being produced for overseas for Russia. Bolshevik Revolution broke out. That kind of put some strains on things, and then there was this whole war thing going on. So the USRA commandeered about the last 200 of these before they were shipped, and then started dispersing them to railroads all across the United States. Some of them didn't last very long, but a lot of them lasted well into the final years of steam. Some railroads didn't like them at all. Some railroads really found them perfect. And these were also the inspiration for the Baldwin light decapods that we were doing in the brass hybrids as well. So this helped to inspire engines like the Strasbourg 90. So we've brought this one, bringing this one out, and I'm very excited with a nice diverse array of road names and some nice detail offerings, including some that have not been done before. Especially the Frisco 1630. It's one of the two decapods in this country that are still operational. We're doing a lot of tooling modifications so that we can make that model much more accurate, with the air compressor on the pilot, the doghouse on the tender, and so forth. That is the only one of these locomotives that does not have the swinging bell.
Because it's hanging out the front.
Yeah, there's just no way to put a magnet there, obviously. We were not able to get whistle steam in this one either, but we were able to put in the swinging bell on all of the SKUs except for the 1630. But we felt that not having the bell there like that would have just looked even more weird than not having the feature. So that's the route we went. Go ahead.
All right. Then the reason we had to, I guess people wouldn't really understand how small a 210, well, at least the Russian version is, but we could not even fit the locomotive PCB in the locomotive, so it had to go in the tender. So those of you that acquired our recent 060 USRA locomotive will be familiar with what we did in putting the main PCB in the tender and then having a wired tether going up to the locomotive. And that brings many benefits, right? So that way we can still produce this engine, putting the PCB in the back. It also increases the electrical footprint of the locomotive. So the pickups on the tender are shared with the pickups in the locomotive. So you have less power dropouts and switches and on dirty track. And putting the PCB back there is what allowed us to also add the swinging bell feature to the locomotive. If it was in the main PCB was in the front, there's just no way you would fit the swinging bell feature in this engine. So another unique locomotive that we had to do a little bit of finessing to in the engineering realm. And I think it's going to be a great model, especially seeing how small it is for having 10 drive wheels.
Yeah, it's a really unique locomotive. We've also done some other cool detail variations, including the, I guess you would say, as delivered variation of the oil headlight and the external safety railings on the pilot and side running boards. That has not been done before. A lot of railroads got rid of those pretty quickly after they had a handle on them, but that was a standard for export. And so we've done a few of the early deco schemes like that. The Russia iron paint on the boiler jacket for the Erie is going to be a real winner too. I think that's going to be a real attractive locomotive. All right. Well, if you don't like small decapods, we've got the complete opposite end of the spectrum here with the Pensi's hippos.
Not many 210Os left now.
I mean, we went from having no 210Os in this company's history for the first 120 years to 3 different tooling variations in the last 3 catalogs.
I'm not complaining about it.
A very cool locomotive. One of my personal favorites. I mean, I'm a Pensi guy. I'm not ashamed to admit it. And the I1's always been my favorite of the Pensi engines. They had about 600 of these beasts. And true in Pensi form, no 2 of them were exactly the same. But we've done a couple of cool variations. Some of the more common variations here. You'll see combinations of both the pre- and post-war front ends, as well as the short and very long haul coast-to-coast tenders behind these locomotives.
You have to respect any train that has a tender longer than the locomotive.
And heavier, yeah. Kind of insane, but they did that quite frequently on these locomotives. So we have 2 numbers available in each of those variations. Pre-war front end and short tender, pre-war front end and long tender, and post-war both variations with appropriate deco on the cabs and tender decks to match those various eras. New features on this. This has all your standard legacy locomotive features. Also has whistle steam on board. Should be a great locomotive for any Pensi fan. They had 600 of them. As a Pensi fan, you're not really doing it right unless you've got at least, half a dozen, I would think.
Well, I see 8.
Yeah, and maybe more to come.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And we did put the kinematic drawbar in this one as well, in the tender.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Awesome. All right. So heading back west again. We've got another new engine for our catalog. This is the Santa Fe 2900 class 484. Very similar looking to the 5000 series 210-4s from last year. And that's because just like the prototypes, these shared a common boiler, common tender, very similar design, just different frame and wheel arrangement. Yep. These, as Northerns go, are very big Northerns.
They are.
There is a typo here for sure in the catalog on the minimum curve radius. These will not do an 031. These will laugh at your 031 curves.
I missed that.
These are definitely an 072 kind of a beast. The funny thing was, when we were looking at the tooling, we placed one next to the big boy, and it's only like an inch or 2 shorter than the big boy. It's a neat locomotive.
It's bigger than any other Northern I can think of.
Mm-hmm. And so going back to features on this will have legacy Bluetooth, whistle steam, the great sound systems, all the wonderful legacy stuff that you're used to. Mm-hmm. Deco schemes on here. The 2926 still running, still putting on quite the show. So we've done that in 2 variations. The first you see there is the modern restoration version. That'll have a glossier finish, a brighter silver on the smoke box front, and polished rods. On the right side of the page, you see 2926 in a more in-service version with our normal satin finish, a darker graphite smoke box that looks more like what we see in prototype photos, and darkened side rods. We've also got the 2912 and the 2903 in there, which are, I believe, the other 2 surviving road numbers that are still on static display at least. And then we have 2 fantasy schemes. We've got one in a war bonnet paint scheme. We've done a few of the black bonnets. This time we went full silver on the tender. Pretty cool looking locomotive, and a return of the blue goose paint scheme as well.
And that'll have that shiny stripe in the middle, right?
Yeah, nice polished aluminum striping simulation down there in the middle. Really neat locomotives.
I like the war bonnet.
Mm-hmm. It would look pretty cool pulling a set of passenger cars.
Yeah.
Passenger cars. All right, another nice small locomotive. It's only been a couple of years since we brought this one out the last time.
We're bringing Camelbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love my Camelbacks.
Love my Camelback.
So this one was so popular the last time we did it. We had a lot of demands for new paint schemes. So we picked a few of those. Some of these have a nice little splash of color on there as well. The Erie with the dark Russia iron boiler. Same with the Atlantic City Railroad. It's based off a slightly earlier prototype, but such a cool
those red side rods.
The red side rods, the dark green tender, bluish gray boiler,
Unique.
cherry red cab, very unique. And then Pennsylvania with the gray boiler as well, a variation we've not done of that in the past. So a cool locomotive, all the legacy features, whistle steam, in a nice compact design at a lower price point than some of the other big steam in the catalog.
Sure. I mean, it's a small locomotive, but fortunately a very wide boiler, so we're able to fit most of the electronics in there, and just happy that we could fit whistle steam in there, because whistle steam in a small locomotive is always a fun feature.
All right.
Ooh, diesels.
So first up, we've got a return of the E8 and E9s in AA sets.
You're a diesel. Sorry.
Dave gets all excited when he sees SP bloody noses on anything.
They are pretty.
And that scheme was around on these engines a lot longer than the daylight paint, but we overlooked it for a long time. So it was sort of a theme for the E units in this catalog, with some of the what are now really classic paint schemes, but not necessarily the first one you think of when you think of these roads. The New York Central and their unique jade green experiment.
It is bright.
I think it's pretty obvious why that didn't get repeated, but it's still kind of a cool locomotive. The Southern in the black tuxedo scheme instead of the normal bright green that we've done in the past, but lots of road-specific roof details on that one.
It's nice to see the Amtrak pair as well.
And then the Amtrak pair, we've had a lot of comments on that. And both of those have some slightly different details on them as well. In the horns, the icebreakers on the roof, warning lights. One has a Mars light, one has a warning beacon on the roof. Those have the plow pilots. So there are a lot of nice road-specific details on each of these, sometimes from one engine to the next. And both units come powered with smoke and full lighting effects, and then the lead A unit has sounds, and the second unit does not.
Yep. You should see the Excel sheets of tracking all the detail variations Ryan makes us keep. It's ridiculous.
Okay, another great colorful paint scheme, the Aberdeen, Carolina, and Western. These have become some great new neighbors of ours.
Yes.
We've had a lot of fun working with them. We'll be spending some time with them this summer at the LCCA convention. So we'll throw in a shameless plug there for that. The neat thing about this was when we started working on this catalog, the prototypes for these E units did not exist yet. They had received them, but hadn't even started to do the paint work. So as they developed their paint schemes, we were right there alongside with them to make the models as accurate as possible, which is pretty cool to be right there on the forefront with them doing it. And they are absolutely beautiful units. So if you saw the F9 A and B from the last year that just recently delivered, and those 21-inch passenger cars, you'll be happy to see some more power and some more rolling stock to go along with this, including their full-length dome car and a twin-unit diner that they have on the roster. So definitely expanding that fleet. We had a lot of compliments on those Fs, and I think the E's will be every bit as stunning.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely known for their unique paint scheme as well, right?
But it absolutely does sparkle, and it's a beautiful, beautiful train. All right. Speaking of fun paint schemes,
a lot of color on these pages.
For our next run of the ES44s, we've got a couple of prototypical Kansas City Southern units, one in their special safety scheme and one that carries the pink ribbon on the side, which not sure that was ever an official thing, probably more like someone putting a magnet on the side of it when they went to work one day, but it's been on there for a while. And
it's official now.
It's official now. So those are both available in full powered versions and completely non-powered versions for those who may just want a desk piece or something to put in the middle of a consist. And then for the other road names, we went back and picked some classic liveries from the 1990s and just brought them forward into the new era. These paint schemes look really great on things like SD60Ms or Dash 9s, things like that. So we thought, well, why not? Let's try it on a slightly more modern diesel, as we've done with things in the past. And you've got Burlington Northern, BNSF in the later BN scheme, really with the cream for the SD70 Max, Chicago Northwestern, and Conrail with the AC white face on there. Those are all available in 2 powered road numbers, as well as a 3rd road number with super bass that has those great super bass sounds in there, and all the other features, everything except motors.
I want mac and cheese now. Well, never mind.
Your mind works in mysterious ways, Dave.
I don't know how it works, to be honest.
All right, we've got the NW2s next. This was the engine that really started off the redesign for us of the EMD SW NW series, and we hadn't come back to the Phase 5 NW2 since we first ran it.
Yeah, it's been quite a few years now.
So some really neat detail variations on these from road to road as well. We've got the Great Northern and its succeeding Burlington Northern Paint, C&O, Lehigh Valley, IHB, Detroit Terminal, which is just a small railroad, but a pretty cool paint scheme. Some different lighting packages on these as well, with some of them having the rotating beacons on the roof.
And some of them have the spark arresters as well that you pop out to fill up the smoke unit.
These have fixed pilots. They'll do just fine on your 031 curves. Single motor drive in these that powers both trucks. Those who've seen our switchers in the past know how well they run, how great they sound for a small locomotive.
How slow they go.
How they will really crawl around your yard. So really nice locomotives, and nice to see the NW2 back again.
Jeep
20s. Now this is all new for our catalog as well. We have not done a GP20 before. So this is a nice new legacy locomotive. This came to us in former MTH Rail King scale tooling that we've upgraded to legacy, just like we did with the RS27 this past year. So you'll see a couple of detail variations on this, and we know there will be more to come down the road as we get more used to the tooling. But we've added a whole bunch of extra separately applied details, and these will have the full legacy control package and sounds and so forth.
Yeah, the full legacy backdrivable trucks as well. Track IR, smoke, sound system, just everything you expect out of a legacy diesel. Yeah, the
GP20 was a pretty much of a landmark locomotive in that line, being the first of the turbocharged Jeeps, and these have been around for quite some time. It's nice to plug this hole in the legacy roster. Multiple runs of road names here, some very well known and popular, some less so.
Like Kyle.
Two different variations on the Penn Central unit because they couldn't seem to figure out how to paint two engines the same.
Penn Central.
And then I actually really like the Kansas City Terminal locomotive. They only have one on their roster, so we only did one road number there, but it's a pretty cool paint scheme.
All them details on the top of the hood.
Tons of rooftop details on that one. It'll be popular.
And cotton belt's good for us.
For you SP guys, we've got some cotton belt in there. All right, getting into some of our high-end sets. We start off with the Camelback and our Lehigh Valley Camelback set. This gives you a nice turn-of-the-century 19-teens era train set for anthracite country. Got the locomotive there with the same legacy features we talked about earlier. Three of our nicely detailed GLA-style hopper cars with removable loads, an old-time truss frame boxcar, and then one of our nice scale bobber cabooses on the end, complete with its interior details and lighting, die-cast frame. Real nice caboose on the end of the train. So anthracite roads weren't always the most colorful, but if you like that, northern New Jersey, northeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern New York region, you've got quite a few friends from up there. This will be a neat one to have on your layout for sure.
It's a nice set. Because I said so.
All right, and then we've got the a Union Railroad freight set. This is for my buddies out in Pittsburgh. The Union's kind of a neat railroad because they still use cabooses on pretty much everything. So we've got another NW2 here. You'll get 3 gondolas as idler cars or spacer cars, 2 of our hot metal cars, and a bay window caboose. And then we also have available for a separate sale another hot metal car. These are all die-cast cars. They have a lighted interior with a glowing hot metal load simulated in there. So very nice cars with a lot of detail and a lot of weight to them, just like the prototype.
And the perfect engine to pull them.
Perfect engine to pull them, yep. And we'll probably see a few more of those hot metal cars in some different themes further back in the catalog. They're not in the scale section, but you'll see them popping up with some of the other themes that we have throughout. So keep an eye for more of those.
Now this is an impressive looking set.
The Iron Hippo. Ooh. So this is a neat set. For those who know the I-1s, a lot of people know of them from the Mount Carmel ore trains, which carried iron ore from Great Lakes to the steel mills around Allentown and Bethlehem. And the last little bit of that run was up a pretty steep grade. And so the Pensi was known for putting a pair of hippos on the front and a pair of hippos on the back of these ore trains to get them up the hill. And in the later days of steam, a lot of people went there to chase those and record late steam in color on the Pensi. So you can find a lot of nice photographs of these trains. And so for the set, we've got the most famous of the I ones, the Survivor from Hamburg, New York here is in the set with the post-war front end and the short tender. And then we've got 6 hopper cars in the set, 2 in the later Shadow Keystone scheme, 4 in the earlier Circle Keystone scheme. And these look like they're empty in the catalog because the ore loads don't come all the way to the top. They're so heavy, yeah. So these will have a resin ore load that sits further down into the car, which will give you a nice tracking on the car, but also will be accurate as well. And then the separate sail cars, 2 of which you see here on this page and 2 are further back, have that same feature on them. And then just like the Union Pacific Big Boy set, we've got the Crew Talk cabin car here, or the Vision cabin car on these as well. We've got the Circle Keystone scheme on the set and also one available separate sail, and then a Shadow Keystone scheme separate sail as well on the N8. And this is the first time we've been able to run those cars also.
And it's a good thing that you got all these coals for these hippos because they burn a lot of coal because they're hungry hippos. Ooh, we should make Hungry Hippos the game, but instead of marbles, we use coal.
Moving on. 2 more really cool sets on the next page.
Ooh, Independence.
The Quad Cities Rocket. As I was doing some research on this train, the more I read about it, the more I just fell in love with it. Really captures sort of the end of intercity passenger service before Amtrak. Although actually post Amtrak years, Rock Island was one of the last holdouts of their own service.
These are the guys that would just stop and pick anybody up if they waved them down like a
Pretty
taxi.
much. It was like a very personal. It was a very not much of a profitable operation, but a very personable operation. And there's a lot of great stories from travelers and workers on these trains, and it was just fun to read about that. And if you're a Rock Island fan, you already know about what an interesting railroad that was. So this really gives you the whole train, though, in a small package, which is what really first attracted me to it, was to do a nice little passenger train that would work well on a smaller layout. And so you've got the single E8 with the great bicentennial paint scheme, and then a pair of 21-inch coaches. These don't come with figures, and that's probably prototypical for this passenger train. But if you want, you could add like 2 or 3 in there and be right on track.
At least it's a colorful locomotive.
It's a great locomotive.
This next one I'm liking it.
Yeah, this has a lot of the same features as the Vision Big Boy set, just in a slightly smaller package.
Yeah.
We've got one of our Santa Fe 2900s, a 3-pack of Santa Fe cars, again, one of them being the Vision Reefer, and then a Vision caboose on the end. So all those same great features in a 4-car set. Of course, you could easily add more cars onto this from what we have in this catalog and previous. And these 484s were real dual purpose engines. They were bought for passenger service, but they doubled over onto fast freight service very frequently. Sort of like the C&O Greenbriers. They spend as much time, I think, in freight as they did in passenger service.
Be a lot of talking characters in these sets now that I think about it. The caboose, the engines.
You may even want to add some more rolling stock to spread out all the joy.
Yeah, you want to space out your dialogue.
All right, let's get into some separate sail rolling stock. We've got the return of our 50-foot flat cars with the 40-foot trailer. Got a couple of prototypical paint schemes here for north of the border and in the Midwest. And then my favorite, and it's semi-prototypical because it's based off of some of the old Lionel, Kitty City, and Playworld trailers on the Lionel Lines flat car. I think is a really neat one. Is it sort of pays tribute to part of Lionel's history and past. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, we have real photos of the real ones.
Yep. And then we've got another run of our PS5 gondolas here in 2 road numbers each on a variety of great paint schemes. Gondola. All right, grain door boxcars. We have not done this one since we first tooled up the grain door either. So nice to bring this one back again.
Yeah, you can see the grain door feature in the top left there.
Yeah, we didn't open the doors on all the cars so you could see the full deco.
Yeah.
But prior to covered hoppers really taking over the bulk of bulk grain delivery, railroads used 40-foot or really any boxcar they could grab and put a temporary wood or sometimes even cardboard door on the inside of the door and then bulk loaded it. these had to be unloaded by hand, getting in there and scooping out all the grain. So not the most efficient way to load or unload a car, but it did give you a car that could then be used for other commodities throughout the rest of the year. And so up until really into the 1960s and early 1970s, this was the most common way of moving most of the grain in the country. So we've done a variety of road names here, some great new colorful paint schemes, different doors on each car. All of them open up and you'll see that grain door inside along with the simulated grain load in the middle of the car.
At least you're not asking me to make it a quilling grain load.
I don't know what that would sound like, but we'll ask Tracy to do it anyway.
Okay. Fiber.
All right. The N8 cabin car, in some more road names and deco schemes here. These are just normal cabin cars with interior lighting and details and figures and working marker lights. No vision sound effects in these versions, but 3 different paint schemes for the Pennsylvania, including 2 with the train phone antenna, and then a Penn Central and a Conrail variation on these as well.
Penn loved that color, didn't they?
The which color?
The bright green.
Penn Central.
Yeah. Penn Central, I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. That's a color.
All right. And last but not least, in the scale world, we have more of our 2-bay hopper car 2-packs.
Mm-hmm.
These are all based on the GLA design. We've got a couple different variations of this tooling. As I mentioned earlier, the Pensi cars there have the ore loads. The other cars have the removable coal loads for the interstate, Buffalo Creek and Gauley, and another variation of the Westmoreland coal loading. And then we have some new standard O center beam flat cars as well, in 2 road numbers each, in 5 new road names. These are popular for modelers anytime from the 1990s to today, and are great filler cars for your train. This is a good point for me to remind you, everything you are seeing in this catalog is part of the print catalog. If you go online, you'll see a few pages of additional standard O cars that we still have in stock, and I think some other scale roll in stock as well, and other products. But we're just showing you all the newly printed things, and everything that you're going to see us talk about here today is also in the print catalog.
Yep.
So it's a nice thick book. It's not just the high end in the print version this go around. There is one cool product that's not in this catalog, though, that I am going to talk about very briefly, and that is our one new piece of Fast Track. It would be kind of easy to overlook this guy, but we have finally added the 3-inch piece of Fast Track to the lineup.
New track tooling.
New track tooling, and it seems silly, but that one length makes possible a lot of standard lengths that had been hard to attain in the past. So I have a feeling there'll be a lot of people who are very excited to hear about that and see that. It does show up in the online catalog for sure, and your dealers all have it on their order forms. And I'm sure you'll be able to pick that up in bulk later this year from your dealers. But want to make sure we got that out there. But that, like the rest of our track and power sections and a lot of our accessories that are in every catalog and routinely available, are still absolutely available. They just won't show up in the printed catalog. Frankly, we've got enough stuff to talk about today, and I'm already starting to lose my voice. So we'll just stick to the new stuff.
Me too. I'm talking too much.
And with that in mind, we're going to take just a brief pause so that you can go to the snack counter, get yourself some popcorn and a big gallon of soda.
We have snacks.
And we're going to bring in 2 more product experts, Megan and Corey. You're going to come in and help walk us all through the traditional side of our catalog. We'll be right back. Thank you for your patience and welcome back. Hopefully you can still hear Dave and I okay. We've given our mics over to the real experts in the room. We've got Megan and Corey, and they're going to be walking you through the next hour and a half of catalog goodness.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a
oh
half.
boy. Okay.
But you didn't get me snacks.
I can't do everything.
Fine.
Popcorn was promised. All right.
Okay, let's go ahead and we'll start with our traditional section. Of course, we've got our updates and
Mickadoos.
Lion Chief Plus 2.0.
All right. Kicking it off with first time as LC2 locomotive, we've got the Mikado with actually 5 road names, one Halloween one that you'll see a little bit later in the catalog. We have the Milwaukee, the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy, the UP, and Pennsylvania. Again, always packed with the great features. You got the Lionel voice control. You've got the fan-driven smoke and the electric coupler on the rear of the locomotive. Always a fan favorite Mikado.
Yes, I mean, this is an engine that really needed the upgrade to command control, and with that and Bluetooth and fan-driven smoke, I'm just excited for it. It's a good little engine.
And for the modern diesel world, we have the ET44s coming in with 4 road names here.
I don't have that page.
Ooh, it skips it over.
Yeah,
Interesting.
my volume has 060s there, but you're all looking in the catalog and seeing ET44s. Boom. Let me see if I can find those. I cannot. So we'll just keep on rolling with it.
Yeah, but we have LC2 Tier 4s coming back again. Second time, right?
Yes, it is.
Nice. Front and rear electric couplers, Tier 4 detailing, audio and lights, and just all the fun stuff. I add so much value to this show.
I appreciate you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, and next up, we have our Bud Rail Diesel cars, a really exciting item in this year's catalog. And so these were actually first introduced by the Bud Company, hence the name, back in 1949. And they built those through 1962. And they just provided a really reliable, efficient, and affordable way to transport passengers without having to have a full loco inset and things like that. And that was especially helpful in rural communities. The cool thing about this is we're actually adding new tooling to equip these Bud cars with Lion Chief 2.0 technology. So it's going to come with all the features you love in Lion Chief 2.0. And we're going to offer 2 ways you can actually buy these: in a powered unit only, and then a comboed unit, which comes with a powered unit and a non-powered unit. And then additionally, we're going to have 5 different paint schemes, one of which is actually a Polar Express, which you're going to see a little bit later, but a little something for everybody. And this one was a lot of fun to work on this year.
Yeah, for sure. And the powered units have the fan-driven smoke, the sound effects, the lighting features. We should really have a scale version, Ryan.
Somewhere down the long line, that might have to happen.
Especially in the SP.
I'm
I'm just a little jealous, okay?
Yeah. For the 2 packs with the powered and non-powered, the powered version would be the combination baggage post office coach car, and then the non-powered would be your regular coach. But if you buy the coach separate sale, it is powered, and I believe that's the first time this tooling has been available that way.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to D100. Disney 100 celebrates 100 years this year. As you'll see here in the catalog in both the print and digital version, we go over the really huge history between Walt Disney and Lionel. We've partnered on many products across the years, and we have some really special items to show you. Kicking off the D100 items, we have the Disney 100, 100 Years of Wonder passenger set. What's really cool about this set is it's got the special D100 finish on it. It's got a kind of chrome liquid, changes colors every time you look at it, finish on it. And not only does it have the Sensational 6 standard Mickey Mouse characters, it's also got characters from all of the 100 years of Disney, including Disney Pixar items, and classic characters such as the princesses as well are going to be riding along, with Mickey riding on the 1923 coach. He'll actually have the disappearing mechanism on him so that if you have low bridges or tunnels, you are able to flip him down so that he won't run into anything. And this will also have authentic Mickey Mouse sounds within it as well.
Because we saw a sample of the color or the paint, and it's a really neat effect.
Yeah, I expect that you will see lots of pictures of this along the way. We'll be showing this off all throughout the year. It's going to be a highly anticipated set, as Disney 100 is really every brand out there. You're going to see it everywhere you go this year.
But not as good as ours.
Definitely not as good as ours.
Yeah.
To add on to that amazing set, we have the D100 illuminated boxcar with the Disney 100 logos. That logo will have multicolored LEDs backlit behind it that really gives it like a twinkle and a shine as it's going down the track, and that is illuminated on both sides or either side of the car.
Right, and then for a little icing on the cake, we have our personalized D100 car. So if you're interested in making this celebration custom to you, you can actually visit us at lionelstore.com, and you can add your own custom photo and 3 lines of personalized text and keep this as a memorabilia, and even put it with your set if you like. So it's very cool.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll probably be, a lot of Disney events around over the next year celebrating this. So if you attend one and want to have a nice keepsake of it, that makes a really cool addition.
You said cake. I want snacks.
I said it. Yeah. Sorry, Dave.
All right.
Continuing.
I'm just being goofy.
Nice.
Goofy's on this page.
Continuing on to add to the D100 celebration, we also are pulling out the Vault Moments cars. These are traditional box cars with decoration from Mickey and Minnie and Goofy and Donald throughout the years. So that real vintage throwback grayscale look celebrating their 100 years. And we also have, really excited to talk about this one, a D100 theater. So this is a classic Lionel building with a new twist. We're adding a lighted marquee and a lighted poster board on the side of the building. It'll also have its standard interior lighting. The LEDs on the marquee are going to rotate around as it goes, and this is going to be a really special item to have on your layout, again, celebrating Disney's past with Steamboat Willie.
All right, so this is a very key piece for our D100 celebration line. And so this actually goes back to 1934, when our founder, Joshua Lionel Cohen, teamed up with the Walt Disney Company to create something really special. And that was our Mickey and Minnie handcar. And so what makes this really awesome, and it's the perfect time to do it, is that it's an all-metal handcar construction. It has hand-painted figures. It's a complete authentic version of the original. And then you're going to get a complete loop of tubular curved track with your handcar. And we're also going to go a little bit further, and we're going to have a total of 5 different custom color variations for this. So if you want to learn more about the history of this handcar and why it's so important and special, and really why you should take advantage of it during this celebration, please go to lionel.com/handcar and make sure you check it out.
Yes, and if you're looking at the catalog digitally, there's a link right here on this page that you can click, and we'll take you there and show you all of the D100 product you'll see here, as well as potentially some more things that might get announced later on in the year.
Yeah.
So highly encourage our Disney fans to keep checking back there and see what's coming. This one, a lot of work has gone into this to make it as close to the original as possible, including the wind-up mechanism and everything on here. So it'd be a really neat piece, and I'm sure anyone will hear out of the entire catalog is Lionel's making tubular track again. But yeah.
But only in 2-rail.
Only in 2-rail, and only for this set.
Yeah, and it comes with a clockwork motor and a key, and even a lever to function this. So anyways, yeah, make sure you visit and learn a little bit about Lionel's relationship with Disney and how it's not just been effective through the years, but how strong it is today. Sorry, on your foot.
All
right. Another celebrated brand in franchise is the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. They're actually having a new movie that's coming out December of 2023. So it was the perfect time to bring back Willy Wonka into the line here. Regardless if you're a fan of the original Willy Wonka or some of the remakes out there, this set really has that like vintage 70s classic feel to it with the deep, rich coloring on it. You got the 080 locomotive. You've got the Oompa Loompas featured not only in the gondola, but also in the mint car as well, with the Willy Wonka load inside. And then ending that off with just the classic Willy Wonka caboose. To add on to that, you have the Willy Wonka tank car, which is going to be really cool about this tank car is it's going to have on the interior pieces that look like you've got the everlasting gobstoppers headed to the factory to get made. Also available will be the with the Wonka Bar Golden Ticket box car. This will have a Wonka ticket reveal. When you open up the door, you'll see the golden ticket on the inside. And another popular accessory that we're going to be bringing back for Willy Wonka is the Wonka Bar packaging facility. You'll have the chocolate logs that'll go through the facility and come out as the pressed Wonka bars with sound and movement operation in it. And again, this will be plug, expand, play, different from the previous versions.
I still don't have snacks, and now there's chocolate in front of me.
So
Yeah,
fun.
I knew this was going to create problems, but
Moving on to new Halloween items for this year. We have, I think the last set that we did was a steam locomotive. So we've gone over to the modern diesel and done Fast Fright. Fast Fright is new in the line. Previously, we had done ELX and a couple other road names. I expect that you'll see Fast Fright service for a couple years to come, as there's plenty of options for some fun deco schemes here. But what we've really been excited about is adding the Halloween graffiti to these maxi stack cars. I think they came out really well, and the level of detail on these maxi stacks is just really a great sight to see, and really cool to have the Freightliner come into the line there. This will have, again, your great creepy Halloween sounds, all custom to the set. We always have fun here coming up with new and unique sounds to go within that.
yeah, and I think too, there's a nice insert in the upper corner of the catalog to give you a better idea, but the graphics on the locomotive really don't pop in the print catalog the way they look on the art and the way they're going to look on the model. This has a very cool ghosting effect to it that I think is really something special.
Right, you have the spooky skulls on the front of the nose of the engine, and then creepy bats going down the side. And again, it's going to have that real ghosted effect look to it. So I'm expecting that to turn out really well. Also adding to the line, we have the Frankenstein's Monsters Gateman. So I love when I get a chance to make a new sculpt and do something fun with a classic accessory. So having Frankenstein's monster come out when the train goes by, I think is super exciting. Again, to have that purple lighted interior in there. Also, we have the Frankenstein's Bar and Ghoul. I actually have a sample of it here. These are actually going to ship here pretty soon. You should see these in the next few months here. This is another version of the corner store building that'll have the interior lighting as well as the exterior lighted sign. Frankenstein's will light up. The graphics on these that our team came up with are hilarious. There's some nods to some previous Halloween items that we've done as well. So again, just a really cool item to add to your Halloween layouts this year.
Frankie, say enjoy.
Enjoy. And because the maxi stacks came out so cool in the set, we also did a separate sale add-on with an additional SKU for you to really get the maximum enjoyment out of the graffiti on these. So we talked about the Mikados a little bit ago, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to see this Halloween Mikado here. Having the bats go down the side, the Transylvania Railroad decorations on these, and again, you're going to get those cool custom Halloween sounds out of this. This engine came out beautifully, so I'm very excited to share that with all of you. Also, as you know, every few years we add a Halloween Spooky Sounds car. This year, what we're doing is adding illumination to it. So what's really cool about that is those jack-o'-lanterns on the side of the car will actually be backlit and appear to be glowing as you get the sounds, the creepy sounds from your boxcar. So a nice feature that we did previously in the Polar Express and Christmas car last year, now with sound.
And these will be track powered now, not battery powered.
Correct. And we also have the Dr. Acula Blood Tonic Tank Car. That's a mouthful. That goes back with the previous Transylvania Railroad themes.
And that has the simulated
It
gooey
has the,
load in there. Right?
the simulated
Gooey.
creepy load in there. The liquid interior. Liquid interior. And as everyone knows, I am a huge fan of Halloween. So to talk about the creepy horror items that we have, we did some horror items, SKUs back in the past, and we're bringing them back. I have met a lot of people out on the road in the last year that have come up to me and told me how much that they love the Halloween line. So being able to actually throw in some classic Halloween movies with animation is really exciting for me. We have the Pennywise Peekaboo car with Pennywise the Clown coming up the one end of the car, just like he would come out the sewer in the movie, and the balloon tempting the kid on the other side of the car. And my favorite movie, The Exorcist, we have the Walking Brakeman feature on the Exorcist floating Reagan car, which will have her levitating over above the Exorcist car as it goes down the track.
Yes. I do not like horror movies, and I still think this is some pretty cool products.
These are sufficiently creepy.
Yes. We've just seen the first sculpts of Pennywise, and it lives up to what it needs to live up.
Yeah.
It's very awesome.
And when we were talking about these, as we, talked about items for the catalog, the amount of ideas that everyone in this building had for additional creepy horror cars to come, let me just tell you, if these do well, expect to see some more creepy Halloween horror stuff. All right. New to Lionel tooling, we have the NYC 280 Consolidation set here. I expect that you will see this 280 locomotive for years to come in all kinds of different sets. Starting off here with the classic New York Central paint scheme, as well as coming with a separate sale pacemaker merchandise boxcar. Anytime that we do an operating boxcar, they do very well, and everyone loves and enjoys the animation that you get when you have an operating car like this.
Yeah, sorry not to derail, but I'm just excited about the locomotive and having a newly tooled locomotive in our ready-to-run line. I think this will give us many options going forward for another fun train in our set world.
Absolutely. You will be seeing more of this very soon. Always a favorite and a standard for Lionel, we have the 440 General locomotive. There's no shortage for beautiful paint schemes for this locomotive, and the Governor Stanford is absolutely beautiful. So to have this locomotive as a passenger set celebrating the prosperity and wealth that came from the gold rush and everyone moving to California to chase that prosperity is really exciting. And the decoration on these highly detailed and beautiful. Adding on as a more fantasy car, we have the Gold Mountain California car that has the simulated gold flecks within the tank.
It's actual real gold.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Oh,
Please don't bust it open.
Yeah. A companion to the ever popular Santa Fe locomotive, we also now have the Texas Special. With its bright red paint scheme and its silver side panels, this is going to be a showstopper. The decoration on this is absolutely beautiful. And we have two additional add-on cars to go with it, the Tulsa and the Anson P. Jones baggage car.
I think second only to Santa Fe and Chief, I think the Texas Special is one of those classic three-rail traditional Lionel passenger trains that just always has its own strong following. And this train should be really popular.
Yeah, it'll be a great addition to the lineup for sure. Upgraded to 5.0 this year, we have the Union Pacific Flyer Lion Chief set. So that gets you all of your great 5.0 features with the LVC and the Lionel voice control. As we just mentioned, the Santa Fe Super Chief will also be upgrading to 5.0 this year as well.
Awesome. Yeah. And in addition, we created a celebration of the Super Chief's 75th anniversary. And so we have a boxcar here, actually printed and assembled in the USA. And we included subtle nods to what makes the Super Chief special, which was its first actual route was from Chicago to LA. And because of that, it earned some more high profile clientele. And so it earned its nickname Train of the Stars for that reason, which makes it created sort of a mystique around it. But overall, who doesn't love Super Chief, and why not take advantage of such an important celebration?
Absolutely.
I like the deco on the top.
Oh yeah, and it does come with roof deck. Thank you, Dave.
All right, as we talked about seeing more of, we do have the 280 available as separate sale locomotives in the Lion Chief line. This year, these will not be coming with remotes, but we do have some great road names for this first offering. We have the Nickel Plate Road, Western Maryland, Santa Fe, and Chesapeake and Ohio. So like Dave said, expect to see these. You're going to see a lot of these coming within the near future.
It's just a cool little engine.
It really is. Also this year, we have some FT units with some great paint schemes. The Santa Fe, the New York Central, Pennsylvania, and this great North Pole Central with the Christmas decorations on the side.
And custom sounds.
And custom sounds.
Ooh, cool.
Ooh, that's different, right? Maybe a lesser known item in the train world, but rail bonders, and not just any rail bonders. These are going to have Train Master Command Control, which is much different, more innovative than what we have done in the past. And it's been over 15 years since we've brought the rail bonders to the forefront. So really excited. We're going to be offering these with 5 different paint schemes, one of which is actually in North Pole Central, which you'll see a little bit later. But I know there's paint schemes here that I know Dave loves too. And I especially love the Long Island Railroad look. I think that's really cool. So yeah, make sure you check these out. These are new and bringing back something that, like I said, you can learn a lot about railroad history by digging deep. So yeah.
And it's the first time we've done these with command control. Last time was conventional only.
Right,
so
exactly.
it's nice to throw the remote control ability into these.
Yeah.
My remote controllability.
Remote controllability.
Controllability.
Ability.
Oh.
You guys are the adults here. You need to take back control.
Yeah.
Ryan, did you want to say anything about we had seen the 50-foot flat cars previously but we're also now
Sure.
showing it in John Deere.
Sure. So here we have one of our licensed TFC flat cars. It's just like the other cars, has all the same great features, the wood deck. The trailer has the rubber tires and mud flaps. You've got a separate set of ends if you want to put the opening doors on there. Really cool graphics on this one, especially on the trailer. And I think a must-have for John Deere fans, especially if you're a scale guy. We haven't done as many of the licensed cars in the scale world. Starting to do some more of that, and people seem to be enjoying it. So
Yeah,
this should be a must-have for a lot of people.
the John Deere advertising with the photographs on the side is going to come out really well. In the traditional world, adding on to the line of John Deere products, we have the John Deere flat car with the vintage mowers on there. You'll actually get 4 mower loads. I know that the catalog has a typo. It's not combine load. You're going to get the 4 vintage tractors with it. So really packs the punch to get those 4 Tomy loads inside of that flat car. We're also adding into the line a flagpole with the cool "Nothing Runs Like a Deer" John Deere.
It has the 4 lights around the base.
Has the 4 lights around the base, plug, expand, play, easy add accessory.
It's cool.
And the John Deere tractor reefer with the vintage ads on the side of the reefer. Those always do well. Everyone collects those year over year. All right, let's talk fans of DC and Justice League. We had done the Justice League a few years back with a bunch of separate sale box cars featuring all the different superheroes. We kick off the series or end the series by including them all in one box car here. So fans of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman will then be able to complete the set by getting this box car. Also, we have for fans of Batman, we have the DC LexCorp Kryptonite Hopper. This has the glowing coal load in it. We've previously done that with Star Trek and a few other items. So this will have that really cool kryptonite glowing green effect on it. We also have the DC Wonder Woman Invisible Jet flat car. Comes with the Invisible Jet right on there.
There was
Everyone,
a lot of engineering went into that.
Mhm.
everyone can see that flat car and the invisible jet, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's there.
It's right
It's
there.
there.
Department
there?
of Defense has been coming at us for that technology.
Yeah. We also have the. I got nothing more.
I almost kept it.
No, nothing more.
Can I get the invisible plane load separately? Yes.
Yes, Tony. We'll fly one right over to you.
We might already be on our way. We also have the Wayne Enterprise transport car, kicking off another item with Batman and having the really iconic Batmobile from the show carrying on the interior here. That has the opening doors, and the Batmobile images will be on the insert within there. And what growing in popularity are our lenticular mint cars. So you have coming in the line the DC Flash mint car with the Flash in action on both sides of the cars. Blink and you might miss him. Really excited to add to the line, and by popular demand, people have been asking for things that they could add to their Hogwarts sets for years. We're going to be adding some additional passenger cars. Each house coach is decorated with its own house crest. So whether you're a Gryffindor, a Slytherin, a Hufflepuff, or a Ravenclaw, we've got something for everyone to add on to their set.
I like the colors.
These came out with a nice combination of something that's obviously pure fantasy, but still retains that prototypical-ish British rail sort of look to it, and I think it worked really nicely.
Yeah, they look nice.
Yeah, they came out so beautifully.
All right. Well, this is a nice transition from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But
We've got we've got another scale flat car here with the Budweiser trailer on board with the trailer train flat. This is more of again a 60s or 70s vintage art on that one. Pretty cool trailer.
Yeah. We also have adding to the line the Quonset hut repurposed as the Budweiser brew hut. We just did the Quonset hut undecorated a couple catalogs ago, and they were very popular. So expect a re-release or reorder of those as well when we do these. But I don't know about you guys. When I'm driving around, I always see these things repurposed into something else. So adding the Budweiser decoration to it is just, I think, a slam dunk for this one. We also have the Budweiser Clydesdale reefers. I know many of you have been collecting those year over year. So another additional reefer to celebrate the Clydesdales. And what I think is probably my favorite item in the Budweiser item for this year, the Military Heritage reefer. And you'll see in the catalog, it explains that the Budweiser re-released a can that they had produced in the 1940s specifically for the World War II. They would send it over to those in the service there to drink. And they actually re-released that can a couple of years ago. And we're continuing to celebrate it here by putting the art on a vintage reefer boxcar. Adding on to those who are fans of Area 51, new to Lionel tooling, we have the Area 51 Drive-In Diner. What's really cool about this features you haven't seen before in this item is it's going to have command control in it. So lots of cool sound effects, motion, lighting. I expect that these are going to be really cool, and I can't wait to figure out what we come up with for the sounds in here.
yeah, they will be in command control, but they'll also get the legacy rail sounds board in it, which gives us a lot of flexibility in the different sound effects and features that we can do. Maybe even a quilling car horn.
Krillin alien sounds.
Ooh, we could do that.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
Yeah, very cool. Also adding on a new effect that we haven't done before was in the Area 51 hazardous materials barrel loader and separate sale hazmat barrels. Those are going to come with glow-in-the-dark barrels that are light activated, so you just charge them up with a flashlight or even from just sitting in your room. They're going to hold a charge for quite a few hours and be really cool to scatter across your Area 51 layout.
Barrels of fun.
Barrels of hazmat, dangerous fun.
I think that may have been the call, not the invisible jet technology that we've been borrowing heavily on here.
This is just the leftovers from what we used to develop the Invisible Jet.
Oh,
We had to
right.
get rid of the waste somehow.
And that may have been also part of the Area 51 hot metal car. We mentioned these earlier in the scale section. It's a nice all die-cast car with the glowing load. Of course, we'll change out the color of the load here to a more greenish. You probably don't really want to know what it is kind of load, and it's highly exposed way of transport. It's
Very safe.
not the way you transport rocket fuel, but that's what we're going to. I think it'll be a cool addition for scale guys who've been looking for some more things along the Area 51 line as well.
It's because OSHA's not allowed near Area 51. I'm just spreading facts.
Mm-hmm.
Always excited to talk about Angela Trotta-Thomas, adding on for her very popular boxcar series. Angela has always been a great partner with Lionel, and everything that she does every year over year comes out beautifully. So she will be celebrating with us the introduction of the Texas Special, as well as the celebrating the General boxcar as well.
Right, and like Megan said, she's a pleasure to work with. And so we decided, let's go ahead and do a trolley as well, do something a little bit different. So we have an ornament look here on each side of the car in the windows, but we also have a unique, highly decorated art on each side of the bottom of the trolley. On one side, you have Santa, and he's sort of pulling away with his reindeer, and on the back, there's a bag. Presents and toys are falling out. And so on the other side of the car, naturally, you see those toys and even a couple Lionel trains in there. So a lot of fun. And you'll have this will be conventional control. You'll have bumper controlled forward and reverse operation. So, and interior lighting. So make sure you get one of these.
Trolley sleighs.
Trolley sleighs. It's a fan favorite, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. All right. Actually, this entire spread is really oriented toward people who've been collecting these lines for a pretty long time, actually. So we'll start with Wings of Angels. Really pleased with actually the way the art came out on these cars this year. We're actually doing a second version of Sarah and then bringing in a Jen and Ariella. They're just really sharp and, again, another fan favorite. So make sure you collect these three. For all our history buffs out there, it totally made sense to do a Battle of Midway car. Again, highly detailed. You're going to have imagery from the actual battle in black and white on each side of the car, and even some highly detailed deco on the door, along with dates and some subtle nods to that event.
Yeah, I couldn't believe we hadn't done Midway.
Right,
at this
exactly.
point.
Yeah, we were kind of both mind blown by that, for sure. And then on the right side here, we have our presidential cars. Again, a long line of cars we've been offering year over year. Very popular. And so we're adding our Miller Fillmore, our John Tyler, and our Zachary Taylor. So make sure you read a little bit about them and add them to your collection.
And I believe for right now, this pretty well wraps up the series of presidents, other than our still living recent presidents that we have not commemorated yet. So this sort of is, if you've been collecting this series, there's some end in sight, or at least some relief in sight on this.
Yeah, but don't worry too much. We have some ideas on them.
Oh, we still have ideas.
So.
We have things to follow this up with.
Yeah, for sure. All right, another anniversary for the Chessie System Company. Obviously very popular. You have Baltimore and Ohio, Chesapeake and Ohio, and Western Maryland. Being from Maryland, a lot of these road names are very familiar to me, so I have sort of a special place in my heart for the Chessie System. So excited for that anniversary. And then below that, I am a total space nerd, just like Megan is into Halloween. So I was really excited to do something special with NASA. And so the James Webb Space Telescope boxcar, that's celebrating a really monumentous moment in not just NASA history, but really for like mankind. It's pretty stellar achievement, wouldn't you say, Dave?
No,
I
mean, these cars really are out of this world.
Oh, the web you weave.
I know.
But the cool thing about this car too is actually the roof and ends are silver, and then the trucks are gold. So it's playing off of the actual sort of shine and mystique around the telescope itself. So that's a really cool feature.
Ending our assorted rolling stock, we also have 2 additional maxi stack cars coming into the series. Again, these go great with the Dash 8 set that will be headed out there soon, as well as some of the other great diesel locomotive sets that we've got coming up.
All right. And then on the right side here, we have some personalized box cars and cabooses. And we've refreshed a lot of these cars. So definitely make sure you go in there and you get one for yourself. And again, you could get a Christmas, a family, birthday, anniversary, and others. And then the cabooses are also a refresh, birthday and Christmas. So get a photo and get some custom text, and make sure you go to lionelstore.com and order you one today.
Get one of each with my face on it.
Yeah.
All
I've
right.
had worse ideas.
Yes, you have. All right, heading into Christmas. Is it? I mean, it's not too soon for Christmas again already.
Not when you're talking Lionel.
It's been like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We need to get back into Christmas.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you want to cover this one?
Oh, we can hit that when we get there. Let's start with the
Okay,
Polar
cool.
Express.
All right. Always like to put Polar on everything. We like Polar around here. So the Bud car, actually the Bud cars I alluded to earlier, I just wanted to remind you that we also have a Polar Express Bud car. And this one's really cool because it looks really sharp with the paint scheme, and it also has a snowy roof.
And it'll have Polar specific sounds as well.
Oh, yes, it will. And also we offer this in a combo. So if you want to get a powered and non-powered, you can. Additionally, below that, we're doing something a little bit fun, more fantasy-like for Polar. And so imagine the scene. If you've seen the movie, if you haven't, you should, definitely go see that. And basically, there's a scene in the movie where the train itself is slipping and sliding across an icy track at night, and they're trying to save it. And so we wanted to sort of recreate the effect of what that might feel like with the train. So we created a 4-piece of curved lighted fast track in a bright blue color that lights up. So as the train actually goes across the track, not only is it going to sit over top an icy lake, but it's going to flicker to create that sort of chaos that you see. And again, make sure you see the motion picture so that when you get your Polar Ice track, you'll really feel like you're in the moment in the scene.
That's going to come out really cool and add a lot of
Yeah.
excitement to layouts that are dedicated to Polar Express for sure.
And if you get multiple packs, you can just keep building.
Just
it
keep going.
longer.
Mhm.
Out the door.
And you don't need to do any extra wiring. It just snaps right into your regular fast track. You can
That's
mix and match with all of your standard fast track.
Right.
One scale item here in this world as well, and that's the Polar Express hot chocolate car in our hot metal thermos bottle. This is part of the North Pole chocolate production facility up there. We're pretty confident that this is responsible for a fair amount of global warming, and the melting of the polar ice caps has spilled hot chocolate out of this factory. But this ladle car carries all that around. You've got the nice glowing warm hot chocolate load in there, and
You're such a dad.
I am such a dad.
We also have, sorry, I'm starting to follow that. You're such a dad.
It's true.
Eat
Yeah.
some marshmallows.
We also have the flat car with the hot cocoa container. These butter dish flat cars were really popular last round, and makes sense to add the Polar Express markings to it as well to add to your Polar Express layout. It has the separately applied handrails on the side of the tank there, and again that unique Polar Express decorations that you've come to know and love with Lionel. Also, we're doing the Sleigh Bells Mint car with the sleigh bell load within the interior of the car there. It's got the 3D bells inside carrying around the layout. Quickly before we talk about the flat car, the Polar Express illuminated covered bridge. It'll have the interior illumination and then 2 unique sides of deco, straight scenes from the movie on there. So highly detailed and beautiful art with the deep, rich Polar Express colors on the side.
Right. And then add to our Polar line, we have an American Flyer Polar Express door-to-door service flat car with trailers. So again, just another piece to add to your collection.
All right, heading back into the scale world for a minute. This one has already gotten a lot of buzz just because of the great artwork that was created for this set. Sarah did such a nice job on these. And the Sleigh Bell Limited takes off on our North Pole Central theme. We've got a pair of Legacy E8s here, loaded with all the great features. These also have what you'd expect on a North Pole Central locomotive as standard equipment, with the plow pilot, the icebreaker details on the roof, and just, again, wonderful graphics. And then we've got, of course, an appropriate passenger train to go with it. The 4-pack includes our new Railway Post Office and 20th Century Limited style observation car, as well as a couple of sleepers. We've got an additional sleeper and dome car in the 2-pack, and a station sound Steiner as well to round out the train. If you picked up my favorite car of all time, the reindeer car from last year, that would be a great add-in here as well. You need another train to go with it. So just a beautiful train to bring into the scale Christmas world. If you've ever been on the fence about having a scale Christmas train, I think this is the one that's going to knock you over to the other side. For on the other rest of this page here, we have another Camelback, more of a Victorian style Christmas motif on here, sort of a Dickens Christmas idea playing off of this, with some great sort of richer, deeper color tones on this. A 3-pack of traditional freight cars to go along with that, the boxcar, stock car, and woodside tank car. And then one of our scale bobber cabooses, again, nice car with the illuminated interior, details, die-cast frame, etc., separately applied details. And what the heck, one more hot chocolate Christmas hot metal car to bring it all in.
I think our team had a really good time perusing the vintage 1900s Christmas art and really trying to be authentic to that on the Fezziwig items there and the nod to Dickens. So this came out really
Fun
beautifully.
thing to say, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that one, I really like the colors on that. I think it just has a nice.
Coming back as a 5.0 with the bright Christmas colors, we have the Winter Wonderland Express. So again, you're getting your LVC, your Bluetooth control, your VSR in here. This set has been a favorite for lots of people and will continue to be in the line for years to come. I love the beautiful white locomotive here. The paint scheme on this just came out so beautifully. And to go back with that, we have a favorite Christmas tree flat car. We did that a couple catalogs ago. This has a new deco scheme, has the multicolored LEDs within the trees there, sitting right on the flat car, glowing as it goes down the rails. Also all new that you have seen in previous catalogs, the workshops, now in a Christmas theme as well. This has the added LED lighting around the roof detailing here. And has a really cool loop of elves in the workshop for Santa. It's on a timed loop with an on and off switch to silence the sounds. Really fun dialogue in there.
All right, and just back to the rail bonders momentarily. This is our Christmas version, our North Pole Central, because, you know, there's always the Christmas fan. And so we want a little something for each of the Christmas fans as well.
They have to fix the rail even up north.
Well, yeah, all that contraction from the cold. I bet they have rail brakes all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Might be the most prototypical paint scheme we could do.
I'm sure there's plenty of pantograph usage up there, too.
Yeah, they
Magic,
jack it off
obviously.
the Northern Lights. What do you think?
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
I like magic.
Yeah, I was going with magic.
I'm going with
Magic.
Yes.
Magic.
And with our ever popular and growing graffiti, we thought, why not do graffiti for Christmas as well? So we have an add-on maxi stack with container load with some really unique and highly detailed graffiti art on both of the stacks there.
Those are the bad elves.
Yes. Definitely on the naughty list, for sure. Continuing with another milk carton flat car with the butter dish on it. We have Santa's Choice, Santa's Choice milk. Again, this is a nod back to the milk car that we did a few years back with the real fun, playful Santa's Choice decoration on there. Christmas music car. So every year we come out with a Christmas music car, but this is the first time we're doing music and lights. What'll be really cool about this one is that all the carolers will have the glowing red cheeks.
Aww.
And it'll have the different Christmas music clips in there that'll shuffle through as it's going, as well as an on and off switch for the lights and the sounds. And I'm really happy and excited with the 2023 Christmas boxcar. I think it's really cool to have the kids on looking as their parent is just chopped down the Christmas tree and getting ready to take it home.
Yeah, look, see, Dad, hard at work. Well, the kids look on. I can identify with that.
Murder. The tree. Does he cut the tree down? It's a nice looking car, Megan.
It's beautiful.
You did a good job.
And again, that will carry over as well, the same scheme on American Flyer. Christmas accessories. So we have the drive-in diner in the Christmas theme as well. Again, you're going to get the lights, you're going to get the sound, you're going to get the motion, and you're going to get command control, which is really cool within this. Lots of action. I expect that it'll have some pretty fun sounds in there as well. Christmas roadside diner. This is a diner that we haven't done in quite some time. It's upgraded with the LED lighting or string lighting around the side. And we've also lowered the sign on the top and moved it down so that we could also get that lighting effect within the sign there. So it'll have that really cool vintage neon look to it, the way that they've done the art on that.
I like the hoof prints on the roof.
Of course.
It has a couple of lighted street signs too. Or
Yes.
street poles.
Comes with the illuminated highway lights as well. Also shown here, we have the Disney Christmas Station platform. This is to go back with the Disney Christmas set that we've been doing for the last few years. A lot of people have that set, and it was a great opportunity to add an accessory to go back with it as well. Plug, expand, play, easy to add to any existing layout, and you've got the lights as well. One of my favorites from the last catalog and carrying into this catalog with Christmas theme, we have the Hot Cocoa Northeast Caboose with the decking. What's really cool about this is that it comes with a 10-inch piece of fast track, so you can park it off to the side. As you know, and as you've seen driving around, a lot of people will repurpose these cabooses, all kinds of cabooses all over the world, turning them into food trucks, hotels, different shops and stuff. So this comes with a little decking there that'd be perfect for figures and people to add on there. And it's easy to assemble. Not a lot of experience required to put this deck together. Dave actually designed it to be really easy for anyone to put together. And if I can do it, then any of you guys can.
The deck is made in the U.S.
It is. Also rounding out Christmas, we have the Dashers Buy and Fly Quonset hut, because of course Santa and the reindeer need to stop and shop as well. All right.
We've got a few more accessories to round things out.
Also celebrating 100 years this year, we have Warner Brothers. Again, you saw the theater previously with D100. We're also doing a Warner Brothers 100th anniversary theater as well, celebrating some of the iconic movies that they've had within their history, including some Wizard of Oz signage on the side. Going to get your illuminated marquee and illuminated poster boards, as well as an illuminated interior. Also, I think when you think Warner Brothers, you definitely think the Warner Brothers Water Tower. It's an iconic piece of Warner Brothers history. The art has been updated on it year over year over year, but what we're showing here is the classic 90s theme that I think most people are familiar with. So really excited to be celebrating their 100th year history with them and being able to do pretty authentic recreation of what they've got there out on the lot. Also, celebrating some of their movies in an easy add-on. If you're just a huge fan of Warner Brothers movies, a classic billboard pack with some really fun art that Warner Brothers put together celebrating this year. Something that you probably wouldn't see from them any other year, but because it's their anniversary, they really did have fun coming up with different ways to display the decoration and honor all of the movies through their past. Another classic accessory getting an upgrade. On the next page here, we have the Patriot Salute Gateman. As you know, anytime that we do anything honoring America, USA, and the troops do really well. And this is just wonderful to be able to have the saluting soldier come out as the train passes by. And again, that is new tooling for the figure. We have the Lionel Theater as well. So generic version, if you're not into the Disney or Warner Brothers version, we have a cool Lionel Theater with some fun train movies. You're going to see, when you really look hard on this, you're going to see some fun graphics back there and puns and train fun. But again, illuminated marquee with the rotating lights and the movie board lights on the side. Another fun addition that I giggle about every time that I see it is the prankster flagpole.
Yeah, I love it.
I have it here.
And fun fact, the underwear is scaled down from Ryan's actual underwear.
Thanks, Dave.
We wanted to be authentic.
See, I was
Very
going to note that they're not to scale in any way, shape, or form.
Scaled down.
Yeah.
It's a fun fact.
There's no way we were getting through this one unscathed. Just no way.
We weren't
Right.
supposed to talk about it, guys.
I don't feel scathed.
Well, obviously it's not plaid or stained, so it wasn't.
You're
Thank
not wrong.
Thank goodness.
Not wrong.
Moving
on,
on.
yeah.
Moving on, Lionel Quonset Hut. This is a fun brand. If you know, a few years back, we did the Lionel Ale here in Concord. A lot of people were clamoring for anything that they could get their hands on with Lionel Ale on it, and we are bringing it back with decoration on the Quonset Hut here. We also have the Thomas and Friends billboard pack. 6 unique images on 3 two-sided inserts, again celebrating all of the Thomas items that we've done in the past, and again always an easy add-on low-cost accessory for those that are fans of Thomas and want to add some more Thomas stuff to their layout. Also very excited to announce that we've got some new smoke fluid smells.
Smooth.
I cannot begin to tell you how much fun it's been having everyone in the office pick these different scents and gather everyone around to sample all of the different smells. And this is not the end of what we are going to be doing with smoke fluid in the next few years to come. Winter Wonderland is definitely like a Christmassy, pepperminty type smell. Really get you in that Christmas mood. We also have the American Summer Scented Smoke Fluid, which is really like a nod to like the apple pie, real USA America type smells that you get there. If you're getting someone a gift for their birthday, buying them a train, it makes sense to get them some happy birthday smoke fluid. This kind of smells like a birthday cake.
Yeah.
So as you're getting a gift for someone, I highly recommend getting them some happy birthday smoke fluid as well. Some real, what's the word I'm looking for? Sophisticated smells. We've got the vanilla bourbon, maple syrup, and bay leaf and tobacco, which is a real sophisticated, manly type scent.
Yeah.
But Dave likes it too.
Full honesty, though, in testing these, I have to say they don't taste very good.
Please do not drink your smoke
Please
fluid.
don't drink fluid. Yeah, that.
They did.
Don't
Yeah,
do
don't
that.
drink it because it tastes terrible. Whew.
All right. This gets us through the printed portion of the catalog with all the new product. Let's give you a couple of important updates and announcements. We'll be talking a lot more about this over the next couple of weeks with in a variety of places and shows, both in person and with some of our dealers and podcasts and things. So you'll be hearing plenty more. If you have questions, by all means, feel free to fire away at talk to us at lionel.com. You can reach out to us on our Facebook pages and so forth. But the best way to get through us is really through our call center so that we can get a lot of that feedback and then get you either get you the answers or also benefit from your knowledge and insight on things that you may have questions about or may like to see changed. We will be working on collecting orders for these from our dealers about 4 or 5 weeks from now, so about mid-February. Every dealer is a little bit different, but we encourage you all to go visit your favorite Lionel dealer. Place your orders through them. You've got plenty of time to think about this. You don't need to run right out and place your order immediately. Though, if you've already got your mind made up, by all means, you can do so.
I saw people in the comments saying that they were placing their order right now.
Yep. So we've got operators standing by all around the country to take your orders for these wonderful new products. We expect everything from this catalog. Our goal is to ship everything from this catalog, as you know, by the end of the printed catalog year for C1. So these items from C2 last year will start shipping. Some of them, like the Frankensteins here, will be arriving in the next couple of months. Others usually by the middle of the year. And then from about July on, August 1, you'll start to see some of these C1 items deliver. And while there's always a few things that for one reason or another fall to the following year or later, the bulk of our products has been delivering in that time frame for the last few years. So barring any new plagues or crises against humanity, we will try and have the majority of things listed here shown for you in your hands by year's end. So if you have questions, again, follow up with us. Keep following us on social media for more updates as we go through the year. Those who can attend, please come join us and see us in person at the Springfield Train Show at the end of the month. Looking forward to that very much. And check us out on additional podcasts as we go along. I'll let you all have the final words.
Catalog!
Happy railroading.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you all.